You guys ready to start the tour?
Hi guys, so we're here to give you a little bit of brief of what you're gonna expect about this video, because earlier you saw like the trailer, like our introduction video, and then now the thing that I think for me when I was there, I wasn't able to ask like direct questions about stitches, because when we're explaining, it's more about everything in general, like where all the produce come from. So yeah.
Because everything was based on different varieties of vegetables and fruits. So ours was citrus, and just from off of what we know, different citrus fruits are lemons, oranges, mandarin oranges, fresh. With the lemon, you can use it in a few different ways. You can do a lemon zest, and it still keeps the zestiness of the fruit.
Yeah.
So
let's talk about where the produces come from. So most of them are from Guatemala, Mexico, Peru, some parts of the U.S. too. Florida mostly. California. And then let's talk about the pricing.
Pricing with citrus fruits can go from maybe $1.99 a pound to maybe $75 a pound. It all depends on the cases and size, the quantity of it, and the different oranges and mandarin oranges, lemons, limes.
And as well, it depends on how fresh in season it is and how well they keep it up.
Yes.
Yeah, so it also changes because the storms, for an example, if there is a storm, so the production, like the harvesting, also gets affected. So there might be a price increase there, and also the quality of the produce can also change because of those variables. So yeah, there's a lot of things that come into place before this, and also the thing that I was so shocked about was the strawberries that the guy showed us, because those strawberries that you're gonna see later were picked 3 days and they were already there, ready to be distributed, and that is just crazy.
And I think the great thing about the Detroit produce terminal was just being able to see all the different qualities of fruit, how they bring them in, how they distribute them, how people come in and do bidding on them, and that was very exciting, how they keep it stored. And I actually learned how to pick a pineapple now and know which part is sweet and which ones are not sweet.
Yes, and there's also like different kinds of trivias that Leo from Nino Salvaggio showed us. Like there's one pink pineapple where they took years and years to develop that one, so when they sell it, they take the top off so nobody can reproduce that one. So that's crazy. So for you guys, what's your like biggest takeaway from this?
What's your thing about mine?
My biggest takeaway, I don't want to say I have the biggest takeaway. I mean, I learned a lot in all of it, so it's not a big takeaway. I just think it was added on to some of the knowledge that I knew, but it gave me more knowledge.
Yeah, for me, my takeaway and the things that I learned, I knew that picking up the right producers is very, very important.
Yes.
But besides that, I think when we saw the companies there and also Nino Salvaggio's, their partnership is really amazing.
Yes.
Like I asked a question like how before it was not part of the video, I forgot to record it, but I asked a question, how important relationship in this industry? And they said it was really, really important because they've been together for years, and it was Nino Salvaggio when everything started. They were already there, like, from the
Right from the root.
From the very beginning. So
Yeah.
that was crazy because now it's like the second generation, which is Leo and her sister and his sister, and like the whole family, and that's really cool.
It's
Especially
a family business. And
it's
that-
about and
they work together.
Yeah, and also it's a good thing because in this industry we know it could be really toxic, and then
Yes.
seeing that right in front of us, like very
And how everyone comes together and works together and share ideas and share different produce companies and the value of fruit and the value of vegetables and what's the right season, what's the right time to buy and all that good stuff. So just coming to see people in food service in general come together and just work together as a team was
Yeah.
very impressive.
and also they love what they're doing. Like you
Yes.
could tell they know everything.
Yes.
Even like the smallest family.
Nino Salvaggio, he loves his job.
Yeah, even like the smallest detail from each small company,
Yes,
they know it.
they know it. Yeah.
I think my biggest takeaway is how important it is for fresh product and fresh produce to have that ready availability.
Oh yeah.
Because you can tell the difference between the quality of freshness between good product and
Right.
not good
Oh yeah,
product.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's it, guys. Thank you
Thank
guys
you.
so much.
Bye.
And I hope you. And I'm just going to put timestamps so you can just skip because the video is going to be so long.
Okay.
So yeah.
Thank you.
I hope you guys
Liz.
enjoyed the video.
Yes. Bye.
You guys got to listen really carefully. The general public is not allowed here, so us being here is like really strange for them. They're not used to having people visiting. Okay, so number one, the traffic. When we get on the floor, there's 2 yellow lines on the cement. The 2 yellow lines are the freeways for the high-lows. Do not walk in between the yellow lines. Okay? That they're not used to people being here. Nobody stands in the way of them trafficking. They cruise. So you don't step between the yellow lines. That's number one, because you'll get run over. Okay? They don't care. Okay? Number 2, when we meet each vendor, we have to ask them permission if we can videotape them. Most of them will say yes because of me and because of Leo, who's going to be joining us. You can talk to them as long as they give you permission. Here's why. They're talking to Nino Salvaggio, they're talking to Bush's Market, they're talking to Randazzo's, and they're making $2,000, $4,000, $10,000, $100,000 orders. They're not going to want to talk to us. Okay? So you have to be very picky about who you talk to. And when you get a chance to talk to somebody, ask your questions as quick as possible. Okay? Because if a client walks up, you're done. Okay? Now we're here pretty late. They're getting ready to pack up and leave already. So the chances of us getting a chance to spend quality time is better than it is earlier in the morning. Okay? When we meet these vendors, make sure that you are just as courteous to them as you would be to the chefs at school, okay? It's a privilege for us to be here. Like when I came here in '85, they still were using this, but I think about a year later they shut it down. You see everybody was sitting in the auctioneer would be up over here on the stage.
yeah.
So this is history. That's the way it used to be. Now they still do these kinds of auctions in Boston for fish. Mainly because fish is so perishable and so variable. The weather, the temperature, what's running, what's spawning, it's a lot more hectic. Produce business, a little more stable. Sure, we'll have our occasional frost and that, but they do everything by computer now. So they actually buy and bid on things while they're still in Arizona and in California. And then they put it on trucks and bring it here. You guys ever watch Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory?
Yes. Can I run in there or no?
We used to have races before and time them, but I got in trouble one time. So this is the entire length of one terminal, and you see all the doors to the left and right? That was each owned by an individual vendor. So when we first opened, each one of these offices had a different importer.
It's gotta be a quarter mile long now.
It's the whole length of a terminal. Yeah, it's about 3/4 of a block.
Wow. Look at that.
That's like
Now, if you were to count these doors, I don't know how many there are, but there's a lot. Only 8 of them are currently being used.
Wow.
That's how condensed everything's been brought down from every family that would bring in oranges, they would sell to somebody. And then and now it's basically 7 or 8 large corporations that run this entire terminal.
Wow.
But you can see what it used to be when it first opened.
Yes.
And the public was allowed up here. You guys ready to start the tour?
Yes.
Yes,
All
sir. The chef said this is one of the biggest produce place to go to, like in all of Michigan, so, which is really cool. Oh my God, this place is big. So there's just onions here. We are back for another video, and Ford, do you want to tell where we are?
We are at the Detroit Produce Terminal downtown Detroit 4th Street, and we are here for our tour, and we are very excited.
So we're here, so we're going to do an interview later if we get a chance. So our assigned fruit is citrus.
Yes.
So we're going to ask questions about citrus, of how the supply and demand of citrus, how the pricing changes.
Where the good
Yeah.
citrus fruits come, different varieties of citrus fruit. You have your lemons, your oranges, your mandarin oranges. So we want to know about all those citrus and grapefruits
Yeah, and which is the best time
to buy
To buy
the
them,
product, the prices of the product, and how long it takes for that product to get here and be shipped out to the next location.
Products that are out here are not under refrigeration. Watermelons aren't under refrigeration. Onions aren't under refrigeration. Potatoes, and that's because they don't need to be. They do better at this temperature. And so as we walk through, you'll see companies that don't refrigerate. You'll have companies that have one refrigerator at 34 degrees and one refrigerator at 50 degrees. And that's purpose so that they're in the right temperature zone. We have our standard potatoes, but each one of these is a different size. So as you're running your specifications, they have different sizes. So when we get to the 90 count, 80 count over there, the potatoes, they come in 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120s, and each one represents a different size of potato. You got to make sure you spec it right, because the 90 counts are going to be one price, the 50s are going to be more expensive, and the 120s will be, which are smaller, will be less expensive. But it all depends on what your purpose is. Okay, so when they order product, you have to be very specific about the item itself. Is it a russet potato? Is it red skin? Is it? And as we walk, each one of these vendors has a place where they display all their potato products, in this case potatoes. We'll be able to look at them just as our vendors buying the product down would be, and we can make decisions based on that. The whole place is all watermelon. So right now, if you look where the watermelon is coming from, and you look on the packaging, these are Mexican product. But as the summer comes on, it goes Texas, Arizona, and then Tennessee, and then eventually in August there'll be Michigan watermelons here as well. So seasonality plays a big role because they want to buy the product at the best quality at the lowest price for their customers. And so as things come into season, when they're very abundant, that's when they're the least expensive.
Yeah, so like the watermelons right now is actually an interesting time. We're going to be starting with domestic stuff in South Florida, and then we basically just work up as, we move up to North Florida, then Georgia, and then we go to Indiana, and then Michigan, by the end of the summer. So we basically just follow the crop as the weather changes. Right now, everything's coming out of Mexico still. That's where we've been basically since probably beginning of November for watermelons. That's, our biggest thing over here, and, especially as the weather changes here, the volume goes way up. In the summertime, this whole section's all filled with watermelons. And we have about 12 trailers outside, all filled with watermelons. So they basically have just these huge sheds that are all climate controlled, the humidity, the temperature, the air, way bigger than even this. And they're all stored in there loose, and they bring them out. They go through, they probably have, they have dozens of them, and they bring them out daily as they need them to run, all the different kinds that we need. So these potatoes were harvested no later than, probably the end of September last year, and have been in a storage facility since then.
We're talking about truckloads and truckloads. They need a sense of what is in a truck. And you say 10 trucks, kind of explain to them what that volume is and what really works its way through this system that's set up here down at the terminal, because it really is mind-boggling.
Yeah, so a typical semi-trailer holds 40,000 pounds of product. So you're talking, 40,000 pounds of potatoes, 800 cartons, 850-pound cartons of potatoes. And these are volume items, same with the watermelons. So you're talking a lot of loads after loads. A lot of restaurants and even the stores now, they just want a big variety. Before you used to only have russet potatoes, and then it was a lot of red potatoes. Now yellow potatoes have taken over more than reds, and now a lot of these specialty potatoes have taken over. Same with the sweet potatoes.
And I see you have 3 different varieties here.
Yeah, instead of just regular sweet potatoes, now we have that's a red, a white, and that's a Japanese yam. So those aren't like big volume items as far as like compared to the Idaho regular russet potatoes or red or yellows, but it's just something you'll see in the stores, small displays, just something different people like to have. Winter months, so that's just like the Idaho potatoes. Most of our onions come from Idaho, but there's also onions in Washington and Oregon, and those are all storage onions, we call them. So all those places all do the same process. They harvest and store, but then coming up now in the spring and through the summer, we go to places like California, New Mexico, Texas, and we call them fresh onions. Those, they don't store them. Those are harvested and packed and shipped all at the same time. And that's what gets us until the storage crop starts again in like August.
So when I was a young boy, that's the old dock, that's the new dock, okay? You see these rail line spurs right here? The potatoes used to come off of the rail line that's out back, and the cars would come in here on these rail lines, and they would unload the carts onto pallets because they were all stacked loose in the railroad, and excuse me, in the train car. So the cars would pull up to these doors, and back in the day, these were all roll-up wooden doors, as you see down there, okay? And they would roll the doors up, and they would unload the potato cars, 80-pound bags. Now we're doing just little 50-pound boxes, but the trains would come in here, and they would unload the potatoes here. Same thing would go with the same thing. They would put oranges on the train. Back in the day was oranges, potatoes, cabbage, all your hardware. So that's where these rail lines, which the rail line spur is still here, but they do not unload potatoes in the carts.
Guys, we are inside of a freezer. You can see all of these are
Different
cuts.
size potatoes, 50s.
So now Chef is showing us that there are different kinds and sizes of tomatoes in this freezer.
This is Serra Brothers. You notice right away the first thing is completely different line of products. Now I know that Leo just talked about oranges, and this is a great way to look at it. This is a 72-count orange. That means there's 72 to a box. And you can see these are 40s, they're much larger, only takes 40. Same thing with lemons. Lemons have the most variety of size. They go, there could be a 140 count all the way from 140, and I think there's a bigger size than 75s as well, depending on seasonality. The other thing you're gonna notice is that they have bulk pack for restaurants. And sometimes retail will take these big boxes, just lay them out, but they also have retail packaging available here too. These happen to be Meyer lemons. You know what's funny about Meyer lemons? They're not really lemons, they're oranges. So they call them Meyer lemons, but they're from the orange family. When you cut into one and smell it, you recognize it. That's the way they deal with seasonality. Obviously apples are a fall product, right? So these are all picked. I see a lot of Washington State here, mostly all Washington right here. But at certain times of the year, you'll see stuff from all over the country. Do you still get imports from outside of the United States?
Yes. Right here, Chile.
There's some Chilean pears. New Zealand. Argentina as well. Okay. So again, it's a global market. And again, with the apples, you have Red Delicious. You have the smaller size. Maybe this would be something you would use for lunch. And then you have larger size of the same variety here. I've never heard of this crossbreed before. Cosmic Crisp is a new variety. Yeah. Fuji, Gala, these are normal Granny Smiths, obviously, right? We deal a lot with Granny Smiths. Got Golden Delicious here. When I first started, it was almost always Red Delicious, Golden Delicious, and then you started getting much more variety. Most of them come from Costa Rica and the Central Caribbean islands. All these are imported.
So now we are here, and then you can see that all of these are freezers. It's crazy, and they're like big freezers. So Chef said this is for berries only.
These are all yours. So they're gonna explain to us how this gets put on a truck and how does it make it. I'm gonna try and give you a chance to entertain the troops.
This all gets taken to our semis. They're all parked along the back, and they get divided up. So many per store, and it gets loaded up and taken to each individual store.
So this is multiple stores worth.
Yeah.
And what do you got, 10 pallets here? 9. Wow. Yeah, this is all you. I noticed the name on it. I says, wait a minute.
It's all mine.
And did you do this? Did you rip this open and take a look at your
Let
pineapple?
me tell you something. Unfortunately, this, when I was a kid, you did not destroy boxes, okay? You didn't tear them apart. But now, things have changed, obviously.
Yeah, it looks like everybody wanted a peek.
This'll last us, what do we got here?
10, I think.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We got 10 pallets? 9. We'll probably buy again, next week, Tuesday?
Yeah. And then the shelf life on these is fairly good, right? You can let these sit out for a while. They actually get better with time at the store.
Well, yes.
Kind of like bananas.
We buy these because of the color. See the color of them? Mm-hmm. See the goldness on the bottom? Okay.
Just starting to
Smell them? Yeah, we want to cut them. I want to see it. We got a green one? Yes. Cut that right there.
Here, we're gonna do a cutting. You got a box to lay it on, or you just gonna do by hand? There you go. There it is, right there.
Ah, look how sweet that is.
Wow.
It looks sweet. It's so tasty. That's very
It looks so much better in real life than on camera.
very sweet. Very sweet. Yep, very sweet.
Last year and a half, pineapples have been better than they've ever been before. They used to have a grainy taste to them before. These melt in your mouth.
So, is there a reason that we've stopped getting them from Hawaii as often as places?
Cost.
Didn't listen?
Okay. So they ship these without the tops. So you can't get them, and you can't take their. They spent probably years creating this. That's a $12 pineapple.
Wow.
And how many pineapples do you think we buy for the Christmas holiday? How many pallets of pineapples will I buy at Christmas? 50. So we'll go through 20 pallets of pineapples a week through Christmas. Remember, we're chopping, we're cutting, so Christmas down here is a whole different animal. So I'll go through what I got here. 10. So starting probably the December 10th, we'll start buying a truckload of pineapples. We'll start chopping them up. So that's what that is.
Wow. So we're gonna try this one. So they call this cotton candies.
We didn't have all this information on the boxes. See this right here?
Oh my god.
grapes.
This is really good. They're so good.
They're so good. They're like crunchy.
It's so good.
I hope you can hear my crunch.
It's so juicy.
This is a mukbang.
So cold. We're inside the freezer, by the way, guys. This is not just like a regular storage. This is not a regular storage, guys. This is freezer. They're so good. I'm gonna get more. I'm getting 3. Hi, so all of this, guys, are berries. All of them, like stacks and stocks of them. It's so much. Like also on the other side, like this whole freezer is berries.
I'm cutting glass.
It's so cold.
Wait, why?
No, I'm just putting my up here. It's so cold.
He's like, I'm cutting.
It's
Is it,
really
it might just be
it's really cold.
Right here. Here's your gourmet carrots, you guys. If you're going to be in a restaurant business, it's a no-brainer. This is the simplest thing in the world for you chefs. Okay? They're peeled already. All done for you guys. All you got to do is do your magic. They're peeled, they're cut, ready to rock and roll.
So guys, we are here at the citrus part. I mean, all of them some of them have citrus, but then there are 5 companies here. All of them offers different kind of things. So some of them focuses on potatoes, berries, and then Andrews Brothers who has more citrus.
But you'll get cropping in the center where the heat still is. If they didn't properly cool them down, they'll be nice and cool and nice on the outside, but they'll be like leaves. They'll create internal heat, and they'll rot from the inside out. So when we go through beans, we dump them out, we look, because if they didn't do the right job and cool them down when they picked them from the field, you're going to get cropping in the center. They're going to get hot, slimy, rotten. You're going to buy a case of green beans. You're going to go in your cooler in 2 days and be like, what the hell happened? So, when you open up your product, when you guys are chefs come in, you don't have to be like us and inspect the shit out of it. But when you buy your products from your purveyors, you should always open up some and take a look once in a while. These are from Peru. These come on a ship. So let's talk about logistics. That was a good question. So logistics, a lot of this produce now, when I was a kid, just started out. Remember we were getting nectarines at Christmas time? People were like, what's going on? That was Chile, Peru. The trees were very young and small. So now it's 20 years later, and the fruit has dramatically gotten better from outside the country. The trees that they planted in Peru and Costa Rica and all those products that you would get from outside the country now has gotten 10 times better. When I was a kid, those plums were...
This company, Monty Back Produce, is based out of Santa Maria, California. So this is where we get our cauliflower, we get our romaine hearts, we get bunch spinach, cilantro, celery, iceberg lettuce. So we have to figure out where the freshest product is, we source it, and that's what we buy.
So does it change seasonally?
Yeah, it does. So this actually is the first romaine hearts out of Santa Maria. They've been coming out of Yuma, Arizona throughout the whole winter. But now it's springtime and this crop just started.
Okay.
So these will be perfect for 7 months now.
So when you go here, do you also purchase citrus or just...
No, so this citrus is out of the lower part of California as well. We deal with Sunkist, so that's out of Oxnard, which is not too far away from Santa Maria, but totally different company.
Are there any particular years that you purchase more of like this kind of lemon or this different kind of lemon, or it's just the same thing?
No, it actually changes because Mother Nature, we can't dictate what she does. So good weather conditions will help the product grow, and that's when we'll buy more and promote that year. So if we have like a bad weather event and something would freeze and then there wouldn't be product, then we would buy less that year.
Okay, so does it also, if those things happen, does the price also change?
Yeah, price fluctuates. So it's a supply-driven industry.
Okay, so like every day the price do change.
Prices do fluctuate by the day. So here's a cooler. It's all pretty much empty. Yesterday it was all full, but these are grapes that we bought from Peru. They got to be at 34 degrees. Right. So we unload them. We keep them here to maintain the freshness, the temperature, to be as cold as it can get, because you don't want them to be out there at 50 degrees, 60 degrees.
And how long do you normally store them for?
Well, the object is to bring them in and sell them as fast as you can, but sometimes it'll take a few days.
Okay.
But we get them in, there's our docks out there. If you guys have been on the back dock, that's where all of our trucks back in. We unload the product, and then we put it in here, but then we sell it to, high-end independent retailers, food service purveyors.
Yeah, it's really expensive.
So how much are you bringing here?
Like truckloads, on Sunday we unloaded, I would say 14 trucks. There's about 22 pallets, 24 pallets on each truck.
Yeah.
So that's pallets of
Yeah, and then
produce.
those trucks are also like freezers, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're reefer units. So, a load of tomatoes will ship at 50 degrees and a load of grapes will be at, 34, 36. A load of California strawberries. Just started California strawberry season, so strawberries are going to be really good for a while.
So they drive from California all the way here.
Yes.
Everything's
Yeah, and it
okay.
takes about 3 days.
3 days.
So these strawberries here, these are out of Oxnard, California, and
Wow, they're big. They're bigger than the ones we saw.
yeah, Well Pick's it's the best label down there. These were picked Friday morning, and we unloaded these on Sunday morning.
They're so fresh, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So for someone to come down here and buy on Monday, they're going to get a strawberry that was picked like 3 days ago.
Wow.
It's insane. It's awesome.
How long is the storage life of that one?
Strawberries are it's about 4 or 5 days.
Okay, because usually if we go to the grocery store, some of them are
Right.
starting to get moldy.
Yeah. Well,
Could it be from them?
I wouldn't go to the
transport?
grocery store. I'd go to like Nino Salvaggio.
Yes,
You know what
that's
I mean?
true,
You
yeah.
got to go to the best in the business.
So my question is, once it goes bad, what do you do with the product?
Well, we really don't see anything bad
No.
because we flip it. We sell it as fast as we can. But sometimes,
And
Mother
it's-
Nature product comes in just okay. We have to find different outlets.
All of this, because it has different packaging, so those are individual companies
Yes.
over here. How many coolers do you get
Got one,
each
two,
company?
3, 4, 5. We got about 7.
7.
Inventory. These are all items, and I've got 5 pages of them. So anywhere from grapes, the tree fruit, all the berries, tomato product. These are from Mexico. I loaded these on Friday. We got loaded these on Sunday morning.
Wow.
These cantaloupes are from Guatemala. They ship them to a port in Florida that I picked these up on Friday, and these were here Sunday morning. You're looking at 2 days, 3 days before we get something that was,
How long is the longest time that they're here before they get distributed?
It all depends on how good we are as salespeople.
Oh, challenges you face, like
every day.
like yeah, every day, like selling
Working
the
with
issues.
different customers, each one has their own separate personality. So you've got to tailor your personality towards theirs so that they're comfortable with you that day. And my job is see everything we have here. I need to sell that every day,
Yeah.
as much of it as I can. So those are my 2 challenges.
So do you like call companies or posters or
Both.
both?
We call customers, we call companies. They walk in, they know we're going to be here Monday through Friday.
So-
Like I was here at 1:30 today. I had a customer waiting for me.
When
'Cause
you
he
got
wants
here?
to get things in his store by 9 o'clock so that your mother and father can go out there and buy it nice and fresh.
So
Yeah.
what's the average customer like per day?
In terms of what?
Like how much people do you get per day?
Oh, how many people do we get? That's a good question. Like on Mondays, we're very busy. We might get, I think we have like 120 different customers, I want to say.
And then who do you target when you're calling companies? Is it like grocery stores? Like what's
We have
the size?
We have independent retailers like Salvaggio's. They're like our biggest customer base. They're like 70% of our customers.
Wow.
And then like the food service people, like the customers that we have that take care of like you guys when you're working, when you're going to be working at a restaurant. That's like the other 30% basically.
Okay.
Yeah. Because no independent restaurants come down here and shop anymore. Everybody gets stuff delivered to their restaurant now.
So you feel the difference in temperature?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so peppers, cukes, this kind of stuff here does not like extremely cold. It likes dry cold. All my leaves, my green onions, all that stuff is very cold, wet. My stores have 2 coolers. I have a dry temp cooler and I have a wet temp cooler. My wet temp cooler is for my greens. Like, you take your celery, you cut it and you put it in the house, put some wet paper towel in the bag, keeps it nice and crispy, right?
Yes.
With a wet temp cooler, kind of same thing. This is a dry temp. Now dry temp coolers, it's about 50 degrees in here, a little less. This, feel it. Okay. The colder it gets, the more this product doesn't like it. It likes dry, cool air, not stone cold. Like your fruits like stone cold. Your vegetables tend to slime from it. And I'm gonna teach you another thing. See that right there? That's taking over the cucumber business. I don't even sell, I sell cucumbers, but not like I used to sell cucumbers. This English right here, this is it. It's the end of it. The cucumbers we get in America with the hard skins, everybody's gonna cut. Well, these you don't have to cut. You just slice them, right? You don't have to peel this. That's what the American cucumber's gone bye-bye. I don't eat tomatoes. Eggplant, it's all clamshell tomatoes right there. Romas. I'll always put this in here. These peppers are these guys. Look at how nice that pepper is. Look, see it?
That's so cool.
Benders. These are benders. These are grown in Delray, Florida. Small family.
These are so cool.
Okay, when we lose them, every time we lose a small family business that cares about it, we get a corporation. Like, it's just dull. They just grow, right? This is
Yeah, they're gonna gas us.
What kind of gas? You have been letting this whole time that we're getting ethylene.
Shower time.
Are we gonna get hired?
The bananas would come on a container, and the container had the bananas on the floor. And then we had a crew, and I was part of that crew. My father was part of that crew. My grandfather was part of that crew. They'd wheel the bananas in 6 at a time. One guy would pull them off, put them on a 2-wheel, they'd bring them in, and we'd air stack them in the room by hand. I mean, we were small back then. We had more than enough rooms, and so we would stack them. Now they changed, the industry changed, and they put them on pallets, as you can see, 48 to a pallet. So what happens here is these rooms got converted. You can see fans down there and a tarp on top.
Okay.
So these pallets go in one at a time, 960 go in at a time. Tarp comes down, the fans suck air through. It maintains a consistent temperature. The fans pull air through the bananas. See, the bananas can create their own heat without any controlled temperature going through them. They'll build temperature on their own.
Okay.
They'll fight cold, but they can only fight it for so long. You know, they'll switch. Pardon? Yeah, so they won't ripen. And what happens is I gas them with an ethylene concentrate. It's a liquid gas. It's on the other side of the room. You pour it into the generator, and it comes out. And what it does is causes a chemical reaction in the banana, and that causes it to ripen. You can't stop the ripening. You can control it. You can speed it up, because heat is your friend to try to get them ripe. But it can be your enemy if you go too cold. So at the store level, when they receive them at the store, they have to air stack them and block them in a way where you can get air, because you don't have the perfect setting in a store. You have coolers that are too cold, and you have coolers, some might have it, but 55 to 62 degrees, that's the temperature, probably too warm for apples, but it's definitely too cold for bananas. So what we do here is the Nino stores, they'll buy from us, and they're here every day, which is, it helps me because you can give them what they want on a daily basis. On Fridays, they'll come in and buy their weekend bananas. I can stage them out where they can use some on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. With them taking care of them, which they do a good job. Not everybody does, you know, so. And we service Costco as well, and they have a different pack. They have an open top. I'm sure you've been in Costco's, and you see the open top box.
Yeah.
Now, why do they want that? So they don't have to hire people to go on the floor. They let the consumer go in and grab. It can get kind of messy, and you know, if you ever go, you'll see bananas here. People will dig and do whatever. You know, we're at this level where you guys, the Ninos and stuff, they'll put them on display. They'll have somebody do it. keep it nice and neat, keep it, clean and fresher. I'm old school, so I'm a little bit nervous about all this, but you have to move forward and, get into the future. And
That's what we carry in our store. We buy these halos. They used to come in wood crates, remember? They were nice, pretty packages.
And there are the blue Badian oranges. These are, and they're mandarin. They're just loose oranges.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So what we do is, some people that want ripe, we'll hit them with a higher heat. An avocado can take 75, 77 degrees. I know a banana can. We go as low as 58, sometimes 56 to hold it. But usually they're in a room for 2-3 days. And you guys get a process triggered, so they're in a room for about 2 days. And then they'll tell us how many they want. The guys will come pull them, put them on your shelves, and sell them.
Get one of those. Oh, look at that.
Whoa. That's crazy.
Yep.
Hey, check.
We specialize mostly in Canadian product is our number one thing. We have greenhouses over in Leamington, Ontario, which we have our own growers. Master Nardi is our largest grower and affiliated with this company. And we bring stuff from Leamington over to here on a daily basis by the truckload. Matter of fact, we got one tied up the border right now. We're waiting for stuff for Leo stores. So hopefully it gets here in time so they have the product today. Logistics is, as I stated before, I don't know where any of these guys at the Zoom in last week?
No, this is a whole different group.
Whole different group. And logistics is probably one of the most, if not the most important thing of the whole gig, because if you can't get things loaded and delivered on time and to where you guys would need them and the customers, then we're in trouble. It's a big part of the deal. So is there anything that I can lead you to or answer any questions for you? Or Chris, if you want to before Leo takes over?
Before Leo takes over. One of the big things that always interested me is the hot houses and how they started and the kinds of products that originated with peppers and how it's evolved into something completely different now, 30 years, 40 years down the road.
Yeah, well, it all started with the small little greenhouse, probably half the size of this room here, the Mastinardi family. And she was growing tomato plants inside the greenhouse, and they were called pinks at the time. They would come in little peck baskets, remember those back in the day? And they'd have about 4 or 5 pounds of tomatoes in them. And that's how the whole thing initiated, at least in North America, over here. Holland has been doing it forever. They were the originators on growing greenhouse peppers, cucumbers, and tomatoes, hothouse product. Actually, several people in the company, not this company, but the Canadian companies, went over there and learned from the Holland people and how you go about growing it, planting it, harvesting it, which is very important. And then of course the sales, and there's a lot, it took a lot to get it done, to get over to Canada, and then get it over to the US. And now, it's been 30, 40 years in the making, and now we have greenhouses over here as well, but Leamington is still the hothouse capital of North America.
Now, most of the seed and all that came from Holland as well.
That's correct. Most of your seeds on all your peppers and your tomatoes and your English cucumbers, the seeds mostly came all from Holland. 5 or 6 different types of these, and they're absolutely delicious. So the honey bombs, sugar bombs, flavor bombs, hothouse grown cherry tomatoes. I mean, this is what it's coming to, and the flavor is fantastic.
We're gonna taste it.
This is okay. 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
This is Leo's favorite.
This shit busted.
Yeah.
Let's get more.
Exactly what he said. It melts in your mouth. It's super good.
It's so good. Show them you chewing.
That
was not expecting that.
It's really good. Juicy squirt. Oh, it's the camera's. Where's the camera? I found it.
Thanks, Ken.
Juicy squirt.
Here, let's taste it.
Oh.
I'll take it.
Grab the tomato. Wait, did you already guys eat it? Did you? Are you guys? Did you guys?
Look at what he's doing. It's a jalapeno time.
Is it
it's the same color as your hair.
You're so nice to him.
Is it good? You got jalapeno? It's alright. Is it strong? You want this shit burning, huh?
I need to pee.
Hey, this guy needs to pee.
This is the sheets that we get. This is basically like a list from each store. You see we got 4 stores, soon to be 5, right? And we'll get a list of what's in the stores. Now, we come down here the following morning and we'll look around based on what we like and see, we'll buy. And I have the numbers, the inventories to kind of reflect what I need. But it's very fluid. It's always changing. There's no 2 days that are the same. It is today, what's good today is bad tomorrow. What's bad tomorrow is good today, based on availability, weather, pricing, all these variables we take into consideration when we're making a purchase or doing what we need to do. And the one thing I will say about our company is the number one thing we worry about is value. Right? That was one of the things that his dad mentioned all the time is value. So his dad once told me, he goes, any idiot can come down here and buy the best stuff and walk away. Now we want good stuff, don't get me wrong, but we want to make sure we get a value, pass it on to our customers. But the side note to that is we really take a lot of pride in the flavor and the taste of our fruits and vegetables. Specifically, fruits, vegetables a little different, but fruits, Mike's got one, I got one. We carry our produce knife, right? This is right here. We do not leave anywhere without it. There's not a piece of fruit in our stores that we do not try. And sometimes we buy stuff that doesn't look as good, but tastes phenomenal. Whether it be, cantaloupes, especially like melons and strawberries and berries. It has to be flavorful and good, that, what we call it the Nino standard, right? It has to be that, thing. So I don't want to throw competitors under the bus or anything like that, but not everybody takes pride in the flavor of the produce, because ultimately, what do? You get home and you taste it, right? You don't look at it. I mean, you look at it for a minute, but it's got to look decent, but you taste it. It's what that is one of the most important things that we do, that we spend a lot of time. We're down here, 5-6 hours every day just picking stuff out, trying stuff, and like look, on the day that the cantaloupes, we're set to buy cantaloupes, we'll probably try, 7 or 8 loads of cantaloupe to figure out which ones we want to buy, and that's just one item. Multiply that by about 250 to 300 items that we buy every day. That's pretty much the ins and outs of how we operate.
We leave here with full stomachs every day.
Yeah. When I go on vacation, I don't need a piece of fruit because I eat so much. If you saw how much we eat every day, it's actually like it's so filling every single day. Like honestly, I go on vacation.
You should see when we get the caramel apples.
Right, yeah. I try the caramel apples just to make sure that they're,
Well, it definitely reflects.
Yeah, so that's the base of and the core of the whole Nino Salvaggio company, and as far as at least in regards to produce, which is, I would say, our most important part of our company. And independent markets here in Detroit, specifically us, are as well as we are is because we have partners and vendors like Graham Produce and like all these companies you've seen around. We demand better quality, and they find it, they bring it in, and then we shop every day. We get to pick which one we want.
The reason that we are as good as Nino Salvaggio's is because of people like Nick, Graham. They've done their job for years of bringing in all the best produce around. And when you leave Michigan, you don't see all these little fruit markets, little independents, because the other states don't have a produce terminal like we have here. We're very fortunate. Hunts Point, New York, Los Angeles, Detroit, Chicago, and then
after that,
there's nothing.
Philly a little bit, but not much anymore.
I'd say New York's probably one of the biggest produce terminals in the country, Hunts Point, New York. But Detroit is probably the third in the country, and we're very fortunate to have this at our fingertips to walk through. And you as chefs can come down here and buy. You can walk in this building, buy a couple of cases of lettuce from Nick and leave. You don't have to, it's not that you can't come here, which is great. So if you're chefs and you want to get up in the morning and come down and look at your product and buy for your restaurants or your wherever you're working or doing, you can come here and do this. That's a great thing for you to be able to come to. Other states don't have this. They have to call Greens, they gotta call Greenies, and they just ship you what you, hey, this is it. That's your grapes for the day. That's all you're gonna get. Strawberries, that's it. Here, you saw the strawberries I showed you in the coolers, right? You saw the grapes in this building, the lettuce. So you have you're very fortunate to have this building in the state of Michigan to come down here and shop and buy from guys like this who are crazy.
Hi guys, I saw deer, so I'm gonna show you. There's one over there, and then another one over there. And the weather is so nice too, so I was like, yeah, and the weather's so nice, so I was like, why not do the outro here? So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video as much as I do, because I really had a wonderful experience. And I am so lucky that I was able to. So yeah, thank you guys so much, and see you in the next video. Oh, and summer is coming, so more videos to come for sure. Bye.